This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
Put them numbers to your numbers and make them numbers go up.
No.
What do you mean no?
It wouldn't work.
And co-host Marnie Winfield.
That's why they say you're transferring $1,000 USD. US dollars.
Oh, yeah, that is true. It is the 1st of December, 2022. My name's Corey Winfield.
My name's Marnie Winfield.
And this is the 217 Recovery Podcast. We didn't do a Saturday night intimacy game last week because we didn't do a podcast.
Right.
Sorry. That happens. I'm sure people cried themselves to sleep. Speaking of crying, yesterday was a very emotional day for us.
It was.
It was very sad. We had to put our little Brinny boy down.
Little baby kitty.
Little baby kitty. He was the only boy I got in the house. And he had FIP. Yeah. And normally FIP is effing Illinois people. That's how I know FIP. When you're like, he's got FIP. I'm like, he's got effing Illinois people? Like, what are you talking about? But it's feline infectious something with a P. Mm-hmm. And they say it's like the cat coronavirus or something. Mm-hmm. But his little belly had like this infection. And I guess when we got him, he had it. And that would, because he had a little bit of watery eyes. And they say that's one of the signs. Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't like crazy watery eyes, but he was just kind of, I mean, he was playful as a kitten, kind of, but he was still kind of sluggish. And I don't know. He was a real chill cat. And we just kind of thought he was a chill cat. And he was a sweet baby kitty. But his belly like got extended. That's what they call it. Like pot belly. And you could tell it hurt him. And we took him a couple weeks ago because he just wasn't being himself anymore. He wasn't playing.
Yeah.
So we thought something was wrong. So we took him into the vet and they're like, oh, he might have like some worms or something, but here, force this medicine down his throat, which I gave you the chore of doing.
We were being responsible kitty parents, and we're like, he's just not as active as he should be. He's still super young, and where's his, spark?
Yeah, it was missing, and he stopped playing with the other kitty, and it was just...
He was just not happy.
No, so we knew something was up, and then when his belly started just kind of exploding out, it was like, okay, this is bad, and I had to go get somebody from the UP, and then I felt bad because I didn't think it was anything major. I just thought, okay, they'll give him some pills or, I don't know, a shot of something.
Well, you go to the doctor or the vet if it's an animal, and then they tell you what's wrong, and then they tell you what you need to do to make it better.
And pay them.
Pay them, and then give them the medicine or, diet, whatever, and it's...
I thought maybe he was constipated. I mean, that would have been a lot of poop. But... yeah, so you had to go all alone with little Brinny boy, and you called me, and I knew something was not good because you were like kind of crying already, and I was like, oh no. And I was by myself. I was on my way to get him, the guy, and I was like, oh no. And so I cried all the way there pretty much, and I just felt bad for so many reasons because he was such a sweet kitty, and I felt bad that you had to do this alone.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for our other kitties, especially Luna. She likes to play with them, and I just thought, oh man, it's horrible.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, is equally, I mean, we didn't know that appointment was going to go like how it did.
No.
But once it was figured out, and then there were complications after they did the testing, and he was like super aggravated, and it's not worth going into. But the point is I needed to make a decision like right at that time. And originally, after they said he only had probably... a couple days or weeks, could be months, he could still make it. I thought about bringing him home, but then after they did some testing, it just things went south, and I needed to make a decision right then and there, and, it was the right thing to do. So, he's in kitty heaven, and I was a mess. Like, they wanted to put me in another room because I'm sure I was just, like, bawling too loudly for the comfort of the other pet owners, So they're like, do you want to go in another room? And I'm like, no, it's okay. I'll calm down. It's
sad.
It was.
It's very sad. And when people, we didn't post anything on Facebook, at least I didn't. I don't usually go that route with it, but I see people post stuff all the time about losing animals and stuff, and it's sad. I always put the little care emoji.
Yeah.
Because I don't really know what to say to somebody, and I don't know. It's just tough, though. It really is, and it's like we lost a family member.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's the thing too, is like we can, every feeling is valid. And this little kitten, even though we had him for a short amount of time, you obviously you grow attached to them, and they're part of your family, and they give you comfort and love, and it's unconditional. And it was one of those things where it was better for us to let him go, because he was not living his best life, and there was nothing we could do about it, and it wasn't going to get better, and there were no treatments. There was no amount of money that could have gotten him better. Yeah. So it was just, I didn't want to, and that's the other thing the vet says, cats are very stoic. I'm like, well, that sounds like it's a good thing, I guess. But really what that means is you have no idea really how they're feeling.
Right, when they're in pain.
You have no idea. And they showed me the x-rays, and I'm like, oh no, this is not good at all.
Yeah.
Like and he's like, this little buddy's brave, but he's not doing well.
Yeah, Nico, I used to get mad at her because she would poop outside of the litter box. When I lived in Arkansas, like I would change the litter. So I'm like, okay, she just wants clean litter. Nope. It'd be clean litter, and she'd poop right next to it. And I'm like, I'm yelling at her, and poor thing. She had a huge kidney stone. Mm-hmm. And since she was a female, she was like, could deal with it. She said, the vet told me if it was a male cat, you would have known.
Yeah.
But that was her way of telling me something's wrong. So if your cat's like dropping deuces outside your litter box, it could be something else, and you might have to take it in. But yeah, little Bernie boy is in kitty heaven, and everything happens for a reason. And luckily for him, we could kind of send him out in a good way. He had a great life while he lived, and everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
I wouldn't change anything.
Doesn't make it any easier, that's for sure. But I just needed it. Like I needed a day to like just recollect myself, and be with you. And it was hard for me to have to do it by myself, but it's just everything just panned out like it did. And I'm grateful. We're grateful for having him in our lives, and we have pictures and memories. Videos and memories. And
like the time when we first got him, my mom came over, and he like jumped on her back because she had like a string, like something that you tie in the back, and he jumped on it, and he like she's like and then he farted on her, and he was a stinky little kitty when he passed gas, and that was hilarious.
That might have had something to do with it. I don't know.
So she said, but
yeah.
So anyway, moving on. So we'll just talk fantasy football here for just a second, because I just put 2 and 2 together. I think you're going to win the league.
Oh.
Here's why.
Okay.
You got the number 2 pick, right? Mm-hmm. And who'd you take?
Josh Allen.
Number 2 overall, you took Josh Allen, who's number 17.
Yeah.
17.
Uh-huh.
I think you sealed it right there.
Uh-huh.
So congratulations. I think we're still going to play out the rest of the league. And you and I made a trade. You got Hopkins for me, and I got Swift.
Yeah.
And I've kind of wanted Swift all year, but I've waited for him to get healthy.
Yeah.
And you have like 18 running backs, so you're like, whatever, dude. Plus, we're going to the Lions game on Sunday.
I know. That's kind of why I was like, okay, because he's doing well, and he would be super fun to cheer for, especially if you're sitting in the stands.
But
I wanted you to be able to experience that.
Yeah, and he's not good enough for your team.
No, he's good.
But
hey, man, sometimes I have people sitting on the bench that are getting like triple points of people that I'm playing. So, I make the mistake that everybody makes. And sometimes you just never know how it's going to go.
That's true, but your team's pretty tight now, and
it's pretty solid.
Yeah, it is. And I don't think I have a chance to make the playoffs. But you know what? Hey, we'll go out, and I picked up Jared Goff today too.
You did?
Yeah, Dak Prescott. But I was like, you know what? I got ETN, who's for Jacksonville. He's playing against the Lions. I got Swift, who's playing obviously for the Lions, and I'm like, might as well start Goff.
Yeah.
Hey, we're there. Have some fun.
That's so fun that you did that.
Believe in the Lions. Like I said, I'm not making the playoffs probably anyway, so might as well cheer on Goff.
Yeah.
And I've never really been a Lions fan, but the Lions donated tickets to us. And, we rounded up some people, and Addiction Treatment Services, we were like, hey, you guys want in on this too? You take some people, and they're taking their bus down with some people, and, they're sober living house guys. So it's cool. And we're giving them a chance to go do something fun and to show them that, yeah, you can have fun in recovery. You can have fun sober.
Yeah.
So I think it's just going to be a great time. And Tyrone's going. He's excited. He's from Detroit. Mm-hmm. He's a huge Lions fan. So it'll be a good time. And I get to see my buddy Dan, who lives over there. And we're going to record his spotlight video. I'm going to redo Tyrone's video. I'm going to redo Adam's video. Maybe your video if you want to redo it.
Is their color like royal blue or like what kind of blue is it?
Baby,
Is it?
baby blue with a touch of darker blue.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I have any.
Well, we have those sweatshirts
to wear.
Actually, the sweatshirt that I wore in my spotlight video.
Isn't that too dark?
No,
It's like bright blue.
I don't know. I think so. I think it'll be close. I thought about buying everybody shirts and then making them, but I was like, eh.
We don't.
I was going to do that today, but I was like, with what money? Yeah,
no kidding.
don't have that. Plus, I didn't sleep last night because the whole Britney thing or something, and I don't know. So that'll be fun this weekend. I think we'll bring the podcast gear and we'll have a fun little podcast on Saturday. So
That'll be a blast.
Tune in for that. I'm gonna have some upcoming appearances too. I'm gonna have some appearances, yeah. Kind of big deal. No. On Monday, it's gonna be at Addiction Treatment Services, and here's the cool thing: if you're not in Traverse City, you can still attend it on Zoom. It's a family-to-family support group. I had Nancy Dow on Tuesday, a couple days ago. Go listen to that podcast. She actually runs the program there at Addiction Treatment Services. She's great. She lost her daughter to addiction, and it's to see her marching on and carrying on in like her daughter's name, like in her daughter's honor, like that's got to be tough, but she says it helps her, and she knows her daughter would be proud of her, and she's not just hanging her head. And her thing is like families need to talk about it, like quit hiding it, quit being ashamed of it, like come together, but we had kind of talked about that the other day. My aunt sent me a text. She's like, I love Nancy Dow.
I know. How can you not? Look, I know.
She's great.
I'm telling you, every time I hear that woman talk, I've heard her speak in a couple different capacities and a couple different forums. I've seen her talk to she came to our recovery homes, each and every one of them, and presented these pillowcases that came from her church. And every time I heard her talk 5 times in one day. Every time she shared, it was like the first time she was having that discussion. And she was talking to every single one of them face to face, like, I'm with every ounce of sincerity and passion and love and pride and like encouragement. I can't even stop with the words about how just amazing she is. And she truly is carrying on the message with every inch of her soul and heart. And it's just love her to death. Love her to absolute pieces.
Yeah, so if you want to join that or know someone in your family who wants to join, and maybe you're like, hey, nobody in my family's addicted, but okay, well, somebody probably is, or maybe one day. So,
or hang on to that information, because you might have a coworker who comes in and is just like, I'm losing my mind.
Yep.
My kid,
everybody
X,
knows
Y, and
somebody.
Z. Everybody knows somebody. And what does it hurt by being like, hey, there's this meeting that exists.
Right.
It's run by Nancy Dow.
You're going to be on Zoom. Turn your camera off. Call your name Charlie, Pat, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Like nobody has to know.
Or call ATS and just say, when's the next family meeting? If you can't make Monday, figure out when the next one's available.
It's like the 12th or 19th or something.
Right.
Oh, I have it right here. But yeah, there's a Zoom link, and actually I posted it today at 217recovery.com. Yeah, there's the meeting Monday, then the next one's on the 19th. But the Zoom link, like I said, is on our Facebook page. I shared it on our Twitter as well. But if you need it and you're like, I don't have Facebook or Twitter or whatever, send me an email. I'll shoot it to you. It's Corey, Corey, at 217recovery.com. That's Monday. and I'm going to be there kind of talking on behalf of like a person in recovery. And then on the 10th, I'm going to do some stand-up comedy for like a talent show.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. I've never done stand-up comedy.
Well, you have. You just didn't call it that.
Oh, I didn't know. No, like when I do talking, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just like up there telling stuff. And like when I did that thing in Pawpaw and I got off, and buddy Johnny from the Chicago Hope Dealers was like, dude, you didn't tell me you were a comedian. And I was like, what? He was like, dude, that was funny as hell. He's like, you didn't tell me that you were funny, that you were a comedian. I was like, I was just up there winging it, man. Mm-hmm. And then when Tyrone and I went to Dukoski one time, and we were up there like, man, you guys got to take this on the road. Like, this is hilarious. Mm-hmm. And people have said that a few other times too. And I'm just like, well, I'm just keeping it real, y'all.
You're goofy.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. We'll let you know. Definitely let you know. But speaking of funny, I've been watching some shows lately. And one of them was called, oh, I don't remember, like Murder something. And you and I both are watching this show. And we caught this live, I guess. And we both kind of like looked at each other or chuckled or something. But let's see if you remember this clip from this murder show.
Okay.
The first thing I noticed when I seen her was that she wasn't wearing any shoes. We are in the country. A lot of people don't wear shoes.
Yeah.
Like, what the,
I was like, what? Okay.
I was like, I need to make that into a drop.
Yeah.
But there's too much background music in it. But I figured I'd play it. And then there's another one that, oh my God, I laughed so hard. And you know exactly which one I'm going to play.
Wait, before you play it, it's not laugh is not the right word for what your response to this.
What was that?
It was like beyond laughter. I mean, he could not breathe. I'm not kidding you. Like tears, like high pitched voice, like he couldn't even talk. I couldn't even hear the words that he was saying when he was saying how funny it was.
And when I first saw it, you weren't even home, and I was laughing like probably even harder at it the first time I saw it, and had to rewind it like 3 or 4 times, and I'm just dying. And I play it for you, and I'm like, honey, you gotta watch this, and it's a show that you hate, Ghost Adventures. And I get it.
Well, hate's a strong word. It's just not really my jam for entertainment. But
for what they catch on there, it's like I caught just as much working at a radio station that was haunted, and didn't even try. Mm-hmm. And they're like, and they're always saying, but anyway, that's here nor there. Here, they're doing, I think it was called the Goldsmith Hotel or something. And he's like, this is one of the first hotels we ever went to, and this place freaks me out, it scares me, and blah, 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 blah. Well, he tells the guys to wait outside, that he's going to go down in the basement alone, and he's going to go head on and face this monster demon thing. So he's down in the basement, and he's walking. And he just tells the guys, because he told me, he's like, if I tell you to come in, you guys need to come in. And so he's like telling me, he's like, something feels weird. It's real cold. It's something. And then this happens.
I can't move. Get in here! Help me!
So he's calling them. But when you hear that, okay, so here's what happens. Like there's this doorway in front of him, and he's got like this microphone you can see in his hand, and he's like pointing it around, and he kind of gets past the doorway, and he hears that sound of like kaboom, something like hit the wall. And that's when he loses his shit and just and he takes off running. And he runs smack dab into this wall, and it just boom, face plants, and he hits the ground, and he's just like flopping around on the ground. He's like, help me. So let's listen one more time.
I can't move.
Wall.
Get in here!
He's just flopping around. And then I'm imagining it thinking, oh man, he was probably laying down there like, it was like 30 seconds in the show, but it was probably like 2 to 5 minutes he was laying down there, because it took them guys a long time to get down there. It had to have. So then they get down there, and he's like making these excuses about how he can't move because every spirit in that building just attacked him at that same moment and tried to enter his body. And he's like making these excuses. And I'm like, no, bro, it's because you just ran smack dab on that wall.
Right?
And he even says it too. He's like, that's when I ran into the wall. Oh, I got tears now. I'm like,
Yeah, you take pleasure in other people's pain for sure.
but if you watch that episode, go to fast forward to like 1 hour and like 13 minutes. And then you'll be right on it. Or you can watch the whole thing, but I'm just telling you, like, it's classic.
Oh my gosh. I think maybe he watched it like 4 times.
I was making
And you're like, I can't believe you don't think this is funny. And I was like, and I'm like half asleep. I've been up since like 5 a.m. And I'm like, it's already like 10 at night. You're trying to have me see it. And I can barely keep my eyes open. I'm like, yeah, it's funny.
I was comparing it to like if I work for an exterminator and I'm out there and I'm like, I'm going to get these roaches out of here. And then I open the door and they're everywhere. That would be me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't keep that job for very long. I don't think. They'd be like,
Yeah, but I mean, who knows how many people had the same reaction you did, and that show just probably got amazing ratings for that
well,
reaction.
if I would have tried that in Fort Smith, I would have got, here in the South.
The first thing I noticed when I seen her was that she wasn't wearing any shoes. We are in the country. A lot of people don't wear shoes.
And a lot of
There you
bugs
go.
come from everywhere, Mr.
There
Winfield.
you go,
You're
right
just-
there. He's
just-
like, that was not weird.
Just not working out. You got to go.
Noticed she was not wearing shoes. She was dead.
Oh, there's another
we
lady.
noticed that.
Yeah, that was another clip from there, too. And she was like, I didn't know what to think. Something wasn't right. Either she wasn't feeling good or she was dead. I was like, well, yeah, I think you're right on the second one. I love the South. The people are good. People are good-hearted people down there.
Things are simpler.
Yeah, that is for sure. But, well, glad we could have a little laugh tonight. At least I did.
Yeah. Yep.
So appreciate you listening. And unless you got something you want to...
No, I'm super excited. Well, my semester's coming to an end, so that's kind of like a blessing and a curse at the same time because, it's always stressful and anxiety ridden when you're trying to get everything done. But, looking forward to the game on Sunday, yeah. And, yeah, so and then before you know it, it'll be Christmas time. So lots of good things to look forward to.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will talk to you on Saturday from Detroit.
And with lots of us.
Yes, it'll be a good time. Tune in, definitely.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. For more episodes plus bonus features, download the 217 Recovery app and support recovery by rating us in the App Store.